we talked about karma and dharma, and somehow I perceived that I was born with a mission. Okay. Because already when I was 8 years old, I fall from the table, and I cut a huge part here, and I was screaming at home that I don't want to go to the doctor. Yeah, and the skin was down.
Peeling off.
Yeah, it was down and bleeding, and I screaming, no, running around the apartment, our house, and this blood running down, and I no. Then mother did something to that.
Stop the bleeding.
Yeah, stop the bleeding, and actually healed. Mm-hmm. And then was the second time was at 11. I suppose I had a huge allergies. Really, I was affected so immensely by allergies that I was on corticosteroids, on pills, on sprays, on different how it is called to put on
creams.
Yeah, creams. Yeah, and injections. 2 times per year I got, I don't know, injection. And when I was 11, again, I screamed at home, I don't want to go anymore there. And at 14 I already started to read things. Like different books from Neja or Khalil Gibran. Okay. This was available at that time, yeah. And then I started also to read some books in Serbo-Croatian, for example. It was a story or autobiography of one yogi. This is of Yogananda, and after I read this particular book, I got so interested in yoga that at age of 18 I started to practice. Was yoga, rebirthing, and Bach medicine, this Bach essential flowers.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, so all this I started, I also I don't know whether this is still a procedure before children enter to the primary school to make a test, but I didn't make through this test.
Okay.
So I was labeled as a child with special needs.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was cuckoo already.
From the beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Labeled from the beginning. Yeah.
Very, very different.
Okay.
I was signed into the school for special children, but somehow one teacher from the kindergarten said, let's try with Neja, with a normal school, if we can go through. And that was how I entered, actually. I was able to enter the school, normal primary school. I did normal, good. But why I told this, because at age of 18, when I finished secondary school, I entered to the university to study regular for my regular occupation, and I don't have even one day or working day on this in this field. But I started to study 6 subjects beside this regular. These were all yoga and Reiki, touch for health, homeopathy, Bach essential flowers, craniosacral therapy, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, so many things. I was like crazy studying. And eventually I came also to meet with this shaman, and I studied with him already for 5 years before he brought ayahuasca. And then with ayahuasca, my mind was even like a small child. Wow, that's for me.
It's very powerful. It gives you really like, especially if like I like visuals in general. I mean, you get, for me, right? Personally, like I said, I have experience with DMT, right? For me, it's like that. You get that information, because you can feel it. That something clicked in your head, and you receive that information. Now you know what you have to do. Even if you're searching before and try different ways to figure out what is that it keeps you at the same spot in your life, and then they just give you like answer. But the thing is, right, again, then when you realize, like for me, it completely broke me, right? Like broke my whole body, like my shield around me. And it was just like, then the work starts. Until you get that information, you can't even start, because you don't know exactly. But you know in deep down in yourself that that's the thing that you need to work on, or whatever that is for each person, right? You just know it. So for me, it's very simple, because if you're brave enough and educate yourself enough to go through this with the right people again, you can get that answers in a very short of time. You don't have, like, for example, you don't have to meditate 20 years or whatever, right? No, because it's so simple.
And so quick.
And so quick. But you know that you got the right answer, because you feel it. Like we feel it. We know that we are here now sitting. You know that when that process is happening in your head, or whatever energy levels there are there, it's like, oh, okay, thank you for showing me. Okay, and that's it, right? We move on. So I love it, right?
Few ayahuasca sessions, for example, can resolve 10 or 20 years of psychological work, psychotherapies.
Yep.
Yeah.
The best expression I ever heard is like ayahuasca is 1 night of ayahuasca is 20 years of psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever visiting.
Exactly.
That is that simple, right? And that's why plant medicine and all the other alternatives, approaches to your health, mind, body, food, whatever, that's why the mainstream or the system is trying to put away, because, well, if you can heal yourself, why would you buy a medicine then? Like, okay, I'm sick, I have stomach. No, maybe you take that tea or that plant, drink that, and like suddenly you don't need to pay $5 for the pill or whatever, right? And that's why ayahuasca was also against, or marijuana or everything. It was like, you're gonna go crazy, all that propaganda, right? But at the same time, alcohol is promoted. Well, why? Because it lowers your energy and keeps you there where they want you with your energy, right?
Yeah. To be like a slave, energy slave. Obeying. And my mission here is to liberate as many people as possible. To start to think with your own head. You're energy being, and you can heal yourself for whatever thing. And you can have in your life whatever you want.
That's the holy grail, actually, which we are all looking for, and it's so close.
For example, when Spaniards came to South America, they were searching for gold, because it was told that tribes and that Indians have gold, but they didn't understand the gold is actually in ayahuasca. when you cook ayahuasca, when it comes to the point when ayahuasca is prepared for consumption, and if you pour, it has golden streaks inside.
Okay, I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Like monatomic gold.
You see, yeah, color, and when you pour, what is left on
the bottom.
Yeah, not
On
in
the
the bottom,
side.
yeah, on the sides, it's golden color.
Well, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's for me, like I'm like I don't know. I'm so happy that I found out that I went that way 10 years, 12 years ago, because it's just like, and I try with all other stuff to, childhood traumas and your environment and your life and whatever, right? And it's just like, okay, here's your answer. Like literally in 7 minutes, I got like my answer. But preparation was a couple of years. Let's make it that clear, right? So it was not like, okay, even before I took mushrooms, I was like, okay, I had to feel comfortable and ready in my mind that I'm gonna do that, right? And also I would like to say that I never took it as like, there was like at the parties a couple of times, but it was never in sense of doing it for fun. My first intention was like, okay, let me see. I read all of these books all of these that are famous people that talk about it for 20, 30 years about it, right? Because 10, 12 years ago, it still was not popular as it now, right? Now it's more talked about and more about it. But like that mindset, it was like, okay, I feel safe to do that in my head. And I was like, I'm gonna do that. And it was really with the respect doing it, and kind of fear, like being respectful, but not fear in saying, oh, something will go wrong, but okay, with respect, let's say, with the respect, let's say like that, with the respect, like, okay, cool. And the last one I didn't took it with respect, but I did it just because I was bored, and it was 8 hours on mushrooms I'm talking about, and it was 8 hours of like, we told you what you had to do, and you came back, and it was 8 hours of like, really, they call it a bad trip, although there's no bad trip but that time it feels really bad. Like it feels all the anxiety, all the childhood traumas, all of that came back in that night, right?
Yeah, we call it in Brazilian, we call peia.
Peia.
Okay. It's like some sort of suffering.
Yeah, it's suffering. Oh, it's suffering. Yeah, it is. You do suffer, right?
Yeah, so what I suggest, really never do it for fun. But also what I tell people before they go to such a session, at least with me, that ayahuasca is not a magic stick, magic wand, that it will resolve everything, because it's one part that she does, and the next part you need to do. You get knowledge. You might get knowledge. It's high probability that you get knowledge, but you need to do something with this knowledge. It's the same as going to school and the teacher teaches you alphabet, and then you don't practice, and you want to progress to the second grade, and you cannot progress because you didn't learn
the lesson.
Yeah, the lesson. And so you repeat, and it might be already suffering, all the time.
Exactly.
The same,
It's exactly what happened to me, right? Although I was working, but I was not working on it as much as I should.